Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's Well Expo webcast. And this is the final part in the business wellness section that we included this month. And the first part was on courses, the second part was on funding. And today you're going to put all that together and you're going to work on your strategy as we come through this COVID-19 pandemic and be ready and prepared for the far side. And to tell us how to do it, what's involved, and what we can look forward to in our planning is Aaron from the IPA group. Hi, Aaron, you're very welcome. And can I just add, you're the first man this month on the series, so welcome on board.
Oh, thank you for having me, Barbara. It's a pleasure.
You're very good. You're very good. So strategy, you put up, that's why I picked up on it there during the week, because you put up a great blog post on your LinkedIn page and you went into quite a lot of detail. And I figured, gosh, yeah, that would be a nice tie up of everything that we have done business wise. So yeah. Strategy, what is it? You know, what do we do for it? And does it take an awful lot of work? So somewhere around there, I'll let you start.
Right. Okay. Well, strategy is the conjunction of various things that you have to use as a business, or whereas it could be to start or to develop a plan for the future or to grow, or you have to have one thing in mind whenever you're developing a strategy, which is your goals. Everything, whenever you're developing a strategy, you have to have some goals and work towards them, right? So a strategy is always it's like a plan, but then in that plan you have different parts and you have to find a way for them to work together. And these times like we're living in, it's very, very hard for people to do business because they're in their homes, or this lockdown is having them like tied and they can't do anything. So
yeah, they kind of feel lost.
Yeah, their worlds are smaller and smaller and smaller. So they have to find a way to go out and sell their products and sell their services or themselves, whatever they're doing. So the way to do that is having a strategy. And then, like I was saying, the first thing to have in mind is a goal. So because not all business have the same goal. Some business can have a goal of selling products. Some other business have a goal of grow, or another business can have a goal of expansion. But not all of them are the same. So if you have that in mind, your strategy and your planning is gonna be working towards that, right? So that's kind of the main thing when it comes to strategy, working with a goal in mind.
And actually, Aaron, just one of the things as I think of it now, like I'm on my own. I do everything in my head. I probably have a strategy, but it veers, it goes off course and whatnot. Are we better writing it down and mapping it out?
Definitely, because whenever you have it in writing or on a piece of paper, it's easier to go through it and go step by step. What I'm doing and where I'm going and all of that, right? And like I was saying, strategy is a planning. So whenever you have that in mind and you have it in writing, it's easier to go and do everything that you have written down. So yes, that's a good advice to have it in writing.
So the 4 stages that you were chatting about then, that we were going to go into, what are they exactly?
Right, 4 stages. It's planning. Second is selection. The third is operation, and the fourth is measurement. You need those 4 stages in your strategy in order to succeed. We were discussing, planning is the having everything in mind in writing. What are your goals are, the tools that you can use, everything, where you're heading, and all of that. Once you have that all in writing, or you have it like in your table, like cards, then you're gonna select what you're gonna do, or what you're gonna choose, what you're gonna use. Like I was saying, in platforms, for example, not all of the platforms work for all businesses.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'd
some
agree with that
business,
because there's some I don't use. There's no point
yes,
because my audience isn't sitting there. But
yes,
some small businesses might think, oh, I have to be out on all of them. I have to be everywhere across the board, but it's not the way to go.
yeah. A lot of businesses think, oh, I have to be in Facebook, or I have to be in Twitter, or I have to be in Instagram. Not all businesses have to be in all places, because the audience is not there for them. So maybe they're spending, or wasting resources in those platforms, and they're not gonna get anything back. So you have to have in mind where your audience is, and what you're doing for them in order to reach them, in order to get them. So, for example, let's say, like you're saying, you're a coach.
Mhm.
Definitely, if your market, if your market is in Facebook, go there in Facebook, go do lives, go do posts and memes and all of this, because people are going to engage with you. But if maybe you're a business coach, where you have to, or you want to have a higher market, where people is more professional, or more
Mhm.
educated.
The
They're not
corporate
gonna,
world, like,
yes,
yes.
they're not going to be there in Facebook, because they're not spending time in Facebook. uh, or maybe they do, but they do it for fun, for family, for
Yeah.
stay away from work. So your focus should be on LinkedIn, for example, or even Twitter.
Mhm.
So those are the things that you have to have in mind whenever you're selecting the platforms for your strategy. And this is very, very important, because it's not just for social networks, but for everything. Websites, or marketing plan, your emails. What are you going to do? It's not like just having an email blast and say, oh, I do gardening. You have to choose the right words, you have to choose the right images, you have to choose the right call to actions. There's a lot of, I mean, in the marketing world, there's a lot of things that you have to have. But what you
Yeah,
can
there's
do,
a lot of background information that you absolutely have to put together. And it's funny, just as you mentioned website, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and they said, "Oh, look, I have a website," and I kind of said, "Yeah, great. Now what are you going to do with it?"
exactly.
Because you can't, once you, like, it's out there, but you obviously want people to come to it, and that has to be part of the strategy that you are building.
And you're actually, you're saying something very, very important. A lot of people think that the website is just a thing that it's there for people to find them.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, in my opinion, maybe it's because I work in this business, but a website should be the hub, should be the everything, should go and point there, because that's your home, that's where your message is. Facebook, Twitter, the social platforms, or even email, are so fast, are so, I mean, they're not there forever, and your website is. So people, whenever they're going through their feeds in the social networks, and they see your post, they're gonna see it for a couple of seconds, or maybe if you have something attractive, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see it for 10 seconds, and then they're gonna move on. But your website, it's always there. And if you have a good strategy in your website, good keywords, good SEO, they're gonna find you, because people are gonna look for you. What do you do? Like we were saying, coaching. Okay, people's gonna look for that in Google. I want to coach, and then who's the best coach in town, or who's the best coach in Ireland, or in the in different markets that there are in the coaching business. So having a website is not just something that is there sitting doing nothing. In my opinion, should be the thing to have everything on.
Yeah, so basically you are making, you're having your own uh, kind of your own home
Yeah.
online, and everything should direct to your home.
Imagine in these days, there's no other way for people to go to you, but
Mm-hmm.
your website, but your communication channels. So if you don't have an office, where how are you gonna serve them? You know, that's my way of thinking. Now these days have, I mean, this situation has pushed us like
Yeah.
3 or 4 years in the future, because people weren't thinking about this, about websites or planning or marketing or anything, because they were doing business like normal with day-to-day people, and shaking their hands, and all of those ways of doing business, which is fair, and they can still do it, because this situation is going to end at some point. But in the meantime, I think this situation has pushed us like 4 years in the future, and now people is looking and seeing the need of a good digital strategy to put in place. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I know myself, I've come across a lot of people who kind of, as they were the bricks and mortar kind of business, and
Hmm.
they wouldn't have really, because the footfall and the customer base coming through the door was fine. This has now, where we're at now, has put an awful lot of businesses into that space, as you were saying, where, we should be online.
Yeah.
But how? What are we going to do? So I'm wondering that, you see, their strategy that they would have set now has to take a completely different, they have to take a completely different view on how they're still going to achieve their goals. So really, from businesses being in the bricks and mortar who weren't really online to going online, they probably have to completely rethink. And that's where kind of people like yourself come in. You actually go through everything now and help them rethink their goals and how they can achieve sustainability
Yeah.
online.
And actually, this part is where the other two parts of the strategy come in. Because we were saying, first was planning, second was selection of the platforms, and third was operation. Now that the operation has changed because the situation, you have to change your planning, you have to change but your goal is still the same, because you want to
Mm-hmm.
sell products, you want to sell your services, right? But then the operation has to change. So in order to change that, I'm gonna go ahead a bit myself and talking about measurement, because this is really important when it comes to operation. Whenever you're in your business and you're having some results of your business, obviously okay, I'm selling this amount a month, I'm selling to these people, and they're interested in this and all of that, right? If you know what you're doing, and what you're selling, if you're measuring your results, you know what to change in your strategy, right?
Yeah.
So like we were saying, third part is operation. When you are operating in the way we were doing it, we have certain results. Now that the operation has to change because of the situation,
Yeah.
you're gonna get another results, right? So measure those results in order to know what to do that now. There, like you were saying, there are businesses that don't have any digital strategy, and they were doing like normal businesses with
Mm-hmm.
normal people. Well, not normal people, but with people
People that
physically.
walk in.
Yeah, physically, right? And for example, because we've talked with a lot of businesses that have this problem at this point. And for example, dancing college or dancing school, courses of dance to show people how to dance.
Yeah,
They don't know how to do it, because normally people would go in and take their classes there,
that's
and the
right.
teacher will say, okay, the days, whatever, and they will show them how to dance, right? They think that because of this situation they can't do it, but you know what? There is a way to do it, and we just helped a business selling their courses online for dancing. We were recording them with a certain type of dance. They
Yeah.
were showing, oh, you have to do this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or the other way, and record them.
You
And
move
then
beautifully, by the way. Yeah, you move beautifully.
I have to say that I didn't learn properly, but like I was saying, we record them and then we sold those courses through their website to their audience, and then they came up with another idea of having a membership. Oh, you know what? There are gonna be people that have some issues learning with just the video. Okay, have a Zoom call with them, a personal call with like 30 minutes or an hour,
Yeah, yeah.
teaching them how to do it through your webcam. You can do it. You can stand there and dance and show them how to do it. So there's ways to do it. Obviously, not all of not every business will have the same result, because maybe you're selling pizzas. Well, you're not going to sell pizzas online like you're going to send an email with a pizza, right? But I mean, there's ways to do it. There's always a way to achieve your goals, even with this situation.
Yeah, because and one of the key things that, and you mentioned it earlier there as well. Yes, there is a way to achieve your goal. It is about looking at things differently. And one example that I have myself was that a couple of years ago, a few years ago, like I was a piano teacher,
Mm.
and I broke both my arms, but I had students that, so I couldn't obviously play, I couldn't do anything. But what it taught me was that I actually had to rethink how I taught. So I could still sit with the students I had to get them through their exams. That was my first experience of kind of, okay, I was still a piano teacher and I still had a client base, albeit very small, and they had exams, and I still have to get them through. So in other words, I had to start thinking of how I could rephrase, say, how I taught, or, rephrase an instruction and think about and break it down bit by bit. And I think sometimes with a business now, when they kind of, the shock of what is going on at the moment is, how do I break it down bit by bit? I've been doing this for so long, it has only ever worked this way. How can I do it? And that's what you do with the strategy. You would break down, as you said, I mean, dance, yeah, you kind of say, and I know they stand in a hall or whatever it is, and all the students are there and they learn. And you have to get them to think about what it is they're doing.
Yeah.
To look at it a different way that's still possible.
One of the things that we didn't mention in the article, but I think it's very important to have as a resource whenever you are planning or creating your strategy, is asking for help.
Yes.
It's okay asking for help, because you don't know everything. We don't know everything. We always analyze everything, and at the in the path we always find things to learn ourselves. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because sometimes that's another thing that we encounter with people. It's like they want to do it themselves, that they don't think other people will understand their business. But I think if you are humble enough to go and ask for help, people is willing to help as well.
Yeah,
So
no, I
that's another
completely
another
agree.
another thing to consider.
Yeah, I completely agree, because there are so many people in the same boat.
Yeah.
Particularly at this time. But one of the things you also mentioned, I'm going to read it here in that from your article on LinkedIn, and I do recommend everybody go to your LinkedIn page, which is IPA Group LinkedIn page for the strategy, because one of the things is that not only does the strategy look at what's happening inside the business,
Yes.
but ultimately the end goal of what your strategy is how you serve the customer's need.
Yeah, this is another thing, and we always think about the customers as the way to get money, right? That's our end goal. But you have, whenever you're doing your strategy, your customers are gonna be the pillar of your business. If you
Yes.
don't have customers, you don't have a business.
Hmm.
You always have to have them in mind and having a strategy to help them, because that's why they're gonna buy from you. So whenever you have them in mind, all of the things that we were discussing, all of the strategy works in order to help them. So let's have another example, like we were talking about coaching. Um, the idea of having a coach is because you want to grow in certain area of your life, right?
Yeah.
So people, I'm watching a series where
No, no, like I'm with you. Okay, I'm taking all this on board. Trust me, I'm learning.
people, there's these
Psychologists are,
psychologist, sorry, yeah,
yeah,
thank you for the word. Which she's always caring, because for their clients and all, and she's always giving good advice. But there's this one customer that she doesn't care about anything that the psychologists say and or anything, and she has this kind of a internal battle of taking the money from the customer, from the client, or really helping her. And this is kind of a one thing that you have to have in mind. What is the reason that you're doing this for? Is it just
yeah,
for money, or is it just for
yeah.
to help
And that's
others?
the thing.
And I
That's
have
that.
to
And actually, within coaching, that really is, as you've referred to it, that is key, because it is absolutely all about the person that is coming to see you and what it is that you can do for them and how you can help them and help them move forward with their goals. And that is absolutely core
yeah.
within the coaching. And I don't think, I know personally, if for me, I couldn't do it if you were saying, ah, yeah, sure, I learn a few quid, because my values don't sit there,
Hmm.
so I can see why. And that's, I was kind of really glad to see that at the end of your strategy, in that what you do is actually how you help the customer on the far side, because you're down to needs and wants then. you
Yeah.
know you are there because you have something that they really need.
Yeah, something valuable for them. And if you like, I was saying, if you do it just for money, yes, maybe you're gonna get it, but that's it. And we all know that money at some point runs out. So it's not. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be just money. But if you're doing it just to give a value to them, or helping them, at the end, yes, there's something in a transaction between, because you do something for them and they pay you for it. Yes, there's money there, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't stop there.
Yeah.
There's always more, and I think that would be one of the things that the article said was that, and the customer is not always the people that pay you. Customer can be your team as well, because they're getting something from your business as well. So you have to have that all of those things in mind whenever you're doing your strategy, whenever you're building that strategy. Your customers, your different levels of customers, you have to have them in mind.
So your top three tips now, if you have to think of the top three things for people to take away from today, what would they be? Apart from, okay, actually, I'll say number one, which is write it down, because that's what I have to do. Write it down would be a really good step.
Yeah.
So two more on top of writing it down. What would you say?
Set a goal, one goal, and never deviate from it. Always look to get it. That would be the first one. And the second one is analyze, or is like in the fourth step, measure. Look where you're going. If you're getting where you if you're going where you want to go. If you're not, you have to make adjustments. So would be, have a goal in mind, and never give up, always look for it.
It's a bit like
And
having the vision board stuck on the wall in front of you with what it is you want to do. You put like a goal. My
if
goal
if
is.
I can show you, I have a frame here in my office. Let me try to show you what it is. This is a
Yeah,
phrase that's
do what you
always
love and love what you do. Absolutely, yeah, completely,
so.
completely.
This is my goal since I started working. Enjoying what I do.
Yeah,
Enjoying what I do is that's my main. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be websites, could be gardening, could be watching the kids or whatever.
I
Enjoy
heard
it.
you're very good at that lately. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the first my first advice. Have something a goal in your mind, and
So you
then
work with small business then, like myself, and then you will work with the larger corporates too. So it doesn't really
oh
matter
yeah,
what size the client is, that the business is, that you can work with them that way.
yeah, and you would imagine that the larger businesses would have a little of the basics, and maybe those are the worst. Because now it's really hard. But yes, we work with different kind of clients.
Well, I hope I didn't put you through the mill too much today, Aaron, and
It was
that.
okay.
Well,
It was okay. I have to say, I enjoyed it.
I have to say it was an absolute pleasure to chat to you
Thank
and
you,
to
Barbara.
learn more about what strategy is. And pen and paper is going to have to be my first. I'm terrible. I churn it about in my head, and I see we have actually, I just see a note here. We have no questions, but we have lots of comments from people coming in saying they are loving this chat. So I am absolutely delighted to hear that, because it is one of those things, strategy, and even that word strategy, you kind of
Scarce.
go, oh no, you know what I mean? It's like mentioning year-end accounts. It kind of puts the fear of God into you, when somebody says it's that time for strategy. But actually, the last question I have, I know you're saying set a goal, but knowing now that because we're now with this pandemic and how business has changed, does your strategy have to allow for some flexibility then as you're going along to, take
Yes,
it?
yes. Because for example, like we were saying, there are businesses that can't do anything without going out and selling a physical product or a physical service. Yes, it's okay to pivoting from maybe you were doing something that you needed to go, like building houses, for example. And maybe you can't go and build houses at the moment, but then you can maybe go and look for other things to do, advising or estimating or
Yeah,
budgeting, things like that. Yes, it's okay. It's okay to change the strategy, and it kind of looks like you're changing the goal, but the goal is still the same.
yeah.
But it's okay to change it, to pivoting from something that you were doing to another thing. It's okay if at the end serves for the purpose of reaching what you wanna reach. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on today. And I learned loads, and I know, and I'm sure the audience has learned a lot too, because it's one of those areas of business that you just kind of think, nah, be grand, I'll get there eventually. But we need to set it out and have that goal set for where we're going. So thank you so much for today. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon, as I am planning my own strategy.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Aaron.
me, Barbara.
Catch you then.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Take care. Bye.